Welcome back, Shop Rats. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally, you get to just spend the day with me in the shop. But I thought today, for fun, how about you just spend the whole day with me? So the first thing we're doing this morning is jumping in scoops and heading 30 dirty miles to my office to take care of some stuff. Well, there's just going to be stuff, so let's just spend the day together. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
I obviously don't want to bore you with all kinds of endless details, but there's so much more to all of our lives than just working on cars, and I'm always trying to think of something that's fun to do for a video, and I figure if I'm having fun filming the video, hopefully you'll have fun watching it. So we're going to hit the road, we're going to get to the office, take care of some stuff there, and then we'll be back here. I got a whole plethora of stuff we need to do in the shop today, so let's get after it. Okay, so I've been in there quite a while talking to my guys. All three of my technicians and engineers are there right now, so we had some business discussions, and I got a fistful of checks to deposit, which is good. And we made some good sales today, so that's good. So things are, I won't say they're looking up, but it's been pretty bleak for quite a while, so that's pretty good. So I'm going to make it a bank deposit, and the guys need me to pick up some supplies, and hopefully we'll be back here in a minute, and then we'll be heading home. So that's my day, how it's going. All right, so we're left the office now, and I'll talk a little bit about my business here in a minute because people have asked and wanted to know. But sitting here in the Walmart parking lot, I got to run in and get some flour for making pizza crust and a couple other little things. I got my buddy Chris coming this weekend, so we're going to have a bunch of stuff to do. But typical for me when I'm on my way home, I'll often stop at Aldi's or Walmart or a grocery store or something because there's usually something that I got to pick up. So that's pretty typical of my day. And also when I'm driving a car like this, I pulled into my usual parking spot here where the car is fairly protected. And sure enough, some guy pulls in a white Challenger and comes walking across the parking lot. And so we had to have a 15-minute conversation about the car and cars and his Challenger and the Dart and all that stuff. But it's cool because I handed him a business card for the channel and he's going to check it out. So he may even be seeing this video. I don't know. So I love that. I love that interaction. It happened this morning at the office as well. As soon as I pulled in, some guy pulled up in a really sweet older Suburban and wanted to talk about that stuff. And then we ended up talking about engines and performance and fuel mileage. And so when you drive a car like this, that just kind of goes with it. And I tend to keep to myself. I tend to be like more like heads down and make sure that people really engage if they're going to talk to me, because sometimes you can get kind of cornered and it's not always the, well, you know, my wife's second cousin back in the day had one of those Darts with a 454 bag block in it. People today were not like that at all. But those are the conversations I try to just stay away from because I just don't deal well with it. I'm not a people person anyway, but I certainly don't mind talking to somebody and sharing good stories. And he was sharing stories about back in the day with the dart that his buddy had. And it's a great conversation. And those are the things I enjoy. Somebody who actually, has experience and isn't just making stuff up. So all good. All right, I'm going to go shop, and I'll be right back. Okay, and we're rolling back into the homestead now. As per usual, stop and grab the mail real quick. See who we owe what. Ooh, good grief. Nothing. Well, that's good. No mail. We had good mail yesterday. I'll share that with you here in a bit. Becky always says, make sure the car is staged properly. So I think at this point it's about 1 o'clock, so we're going to go get some lunch, and then we'll get out in the shop and get after stuff. But this is pretty typical of a day when I'm not filming for the channel. I usually try to go into the office 2 or 3 days a week. Most of what I do in my business is on the phone and online, so it's not doesn't require a lot of intensive office time for me like it used to years ago. But we're kind of in transition right now. Some of you have wanted to know, what is my business? I own a technology company. We do computer network support for small, medium businesses all across the Midwest. Majority of our customers are obviously located in Michigan, but we've serviced customers as far west as Colorado, California, as far south as Texas and Florida, Virginia, North Carolina. We're reined back now more into the Great Lakes area. Our customer base is down, but we're looking, we're working to grow again and so forth. So we've had some real challenges, particularly in the last year, but we're overcoming them. I've got a great staff again, and we're getting things built back up. So that's what we do. Basically anything that a small business needs for technology, we offer a managed service for it, or we do break fix. So managed services means where they just pay a monthly retainer, they pay a monthly fee, and whatever they need with their technology, we take care of. My biggest customers, we manage everything. We do all their printing services. We even manage their cell phones. So if they need something with their cell phones, we take care of it for them. They don't have to call the cell phone company. We manage all their internet for all their locations. Anything and everything that a business needs is what we do regarding technology. So computers, servers, printers, networks, cloud services, you name it. That's what my team does. So that's it in a nutshell. We've been in business now since 2007. So what's that, 16 years? 17 years? I don't even know what year it is. So yeah, we're going to go get some lunch, and then we'll be back out in the shop, and we got stuff to share with you. We got some projects to do, and we've got other stuff too. So you guys go get some lunch, and I'll go get my lunch, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, we got a package that we're going to share with you. On my way out to the shop right now to get on the projects, and we'll talk more about typical days around here and just how things work, because some of you have asked. well, like I said, it just seemed like something fun to do. So trying to unlock the shop. There we go. Let's put the package down over here. Let's get everything turned on. We even turned on the compressor. So again, not an automotive thing, but this is typical of the stuff we do here around the homestead. I was working on Becky's garden yesterday on a new garden that she was putting in, and the handle on the rototiller broke off. Very poor design, and then somebody fixed it and didn't do a very good job. So I got a couple ideas on how I'm going to go about this, but that's not really why you're here, and I know that. But it is again about spending the day here in the shop, and I thought, something different we can do. We've been so hammering on the automotive projects. There's so much that surrounds this place in the homestead here with our homesteading channel that we do, and all the tools and equipment that we use for all kinds of things beyond just these car projects. So example, fixing the rototiller is what we're about today. So I'm going to get after this, and then there's other things I want to share, and I want to open that package, and we're going to talk more about the bigger picture of the stuff we do here on the homestead and around my car shop. And that is exactly what working in technology is like. Phone call, had to run to my computer, help one of my technicians with an issue. That's pretty normal of my day. More my job focus is, running the business, working with my daughter, who's the operations manager, and working with my customers and trying to do sales and things like that. Even though I'm not a salesperson, this is kind of typical of a day. And so I'm back out here in the shop again, and I was just figuring out exactly what I'm going to do here. So let me show you what I'm thinking. So at first I was going to make this nice fancy round thing out of sheet metal, and I thought, you know what, ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm just going to take a piece of angle iron and put a brace on it, like 10 inches long on both sides. It's two pieces, and it has to be two pieces like this, because of the way it goes on there. This is an adjustment for the handle. So I think that's going to be the quickest, cheapest, simplest, quick and dirty to get that done. So that's going to work pretty well, I think. So what I think I'm going to do is go through and just make a couple of tack welds there. And there, get that all ground down and in good shape. And I'll probably run a bead weld in there. And then I'll make a line where my angle iron is going to be. And we'll clean that all up, and then we'll get that welded on. Then we'll flip it over and do the same thing with this side. And that's cheap and dirty and good to go. It's a really poor design, and then somebody fixed it once and it broke again on me yesterday. So this should take care of it. If it doesn't, we'll reinvent it again, because that's what we do here at My Car Shop. Okay, got things cleaned up. I got a couple tack welds now. I should have room here for this to kind of slip in place like so. Looks like we got to do a little better cleanup on this side. I probably want to bring this way a little bit more. But yeah, so I just got to clean up a little further down, so I'll make a mark where exactly that needs to be cleaned up. But what I want to do also now is just go through and do a little welding inside while still allowing some room. So I'll just do some welding up in here. They did a crappy job on this before when it broke, so this should work with. There we go. So it's just tacked, and now I want to flip it over to the other side and make sure everything's going to line up properly. And then we'll run some good beads on there if everything's going to work. So, and there's a reason I'm sharing this with you, so let's talk about that. Doing the kind of stuff that we do here at My Car Shop, rebuilding cars, fabricating, building engines, all of that stuff, is more than just about the cars. It's a whole lifestyle. Becky and I are very independent people. We try not to be socially dependent. We have a homesteading channel. We haven't always lived in a situation like this, but this is our roots. She grew up on a dairy farm. I grew up in a small town and moved all over the place. But when I moved here when I was 17 years old, this was definitely a lifestyle that I really wanted to adopt. Now, I didn't know spit from shine back in those days. And, I worked on farms. I worked on a hog farm. I worked on dairy farms, worked in the field, stuff like that. But I had no idea what I was doing. And, but, that was 40 plus years ago. I moved here when I was 15, actually. Sorry about that. But anyway, but being around her, her family, the community, my friends, um, I really am very much an anti establishment kind of person. I don't like cities. Uh, I like being independent. I like having my freedom. We are fairly self sustaining. Um, we grow our food as much as possible, all that kind of stuff. And my point is, if you're living that lifestyle, all of the skills that I've developed over, 45 years, 40 years is really, and probably more than 45 years when I think about it, because I started building engines for lawnmowers and go-karts when I was probably 8 or 10 years old. Um, it's all a lifetime of skill. And the only way you get that skill is to keep working and learning and growing. And I pushed myself professionally into the auto industry and developed all kinds of skills and learned about machining, working in engineering. And so you get to the point where you get to be this age and you've accumulated a lot of tools, equipment, skills that can make you very valuable in a society that is going the direction this one's going. And but it's more about independence and being able to. So I was teasing her yesterday. I said, if you'd married one of those other guys, you'd have had a really nice new rototiller, and you wouldn't have to have this fixed. But that's not the life she wants either. She appreciates the fact that I can take a silk purse and turn it into a sow's ear.
Said that backwards, didn't I?
Proof of concept works good. I just went out and checked it on the tiller. It all works good. This is a little spread far apart, so I'm squeezing it together while I weld it so that the heat will help pull it where it should be. And, I did get I'm off a little bit is what I'm trying to say, but it's a piece of farm equipment. It's not about looks, so I don't really care about that. So I'm going to go ahead and run some more tacks on there. I don't think I'm going to solid weld it. I think I'm going to do like 1-inch stitches here and there. And that should do it. We can get her put back together again. There we go. Got some boogers going on. My biggest struggle is not being able to see. I struggle not being able to see. I don't know if it's that Eastwood helmet. I brought my light over and that helped. When I get good vision and I can see well, I can lay a pretty decent bead. Of course, it's not perfect, but it's not like I need to take welding classes. But I couldn't see back here. And I had a heck of a time staying online. And that's the biggest thing that happens is I start wandering off because I can't see where I'm going. Some of that I know is position my hands and so forth. But still, at the end of the day, I don't know of any blind people that weld. And I'm literally welding blind. So I got to figure that out. I may need to just look into a different helmet. We'll see. But I suppose I haven't tried I should try my Yes Welding glasses. Maybe I'll do that on the other side. I wouldn't normally use those for this, but I'm just curious to see if I can see better. So I think I got one more set of 3 to do. They're beauteous, eh? All right, let's try them, see how they work. 100% better. I can see what I'm doing. And to the one specific ashtray on the channel who's no longer here, this is what I'm saying. And some of you old timers know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so yep, that's what the problem has been, is something with that helmet I'm not agreeing with. So I'm not going to use those for everything, but I could see what I was doing and I didn't wander off and could lay a nice bead on there. So I'm happy with that. This is done. Now we just got to finish it up. What I was referring to, most of you guys probably don't know, but there are some of the old timers from way back who do know what I was talking about. That person has been banned from the channel. So it takes a lot for me to bring things to that point, but I just had enough of the disruption and so forth on the channel. So anyway, I don't want to get into all that negativity, but 100% it's me not being able to see. My eyes are bad enough as it is, but there's something about that Eastwood helmet. I'm going to see if some new shields maybe will make a difference. Maybe I'm just getting too much glare, but I may need to look for a new helmet. And I'm impressed with those little They were not. They were $50, I think, for those glasses. The problem with doing that with too much welding with those is you're going to get welder burn on your face because it's not a protection for the whole face. So, okay, this needs to cool. So let's open a package because we do got to do something here for the My Car Shop stuff because I try to do a little bite every day, even if I'm not filming. And here's a bite that I can share with you on a day like today. And for those of you who have OCD, I did go ahead and trim that up a little bit and make those ends so they're not so wonked out. But let's take a look at this package. This package came from southern Michigan, right down by the Ohio border. Yeah, from a fellow that was selling something on Facebook Marketplace that I thought was a pretty good deal. And I'm always looking for the deals, as you know. That's why we only have $2,500 into our Challenger versus the $15,000 that other people would have had at this point. So let's open this up. See what we got. We have bags and bubble wrap. Woohoo! We also have something very blue. It's not borrowed. It's not new. It is in beautiful condition. We have a set of hood hinges for stitches because I don't have any, and I have a hood coming from a viewer in Canada. If you haven't checked out his channel, go check out Glass Glows, GlassGlowz. He donated a rusty hood for stitches. And the thing with this one is, it's missing its springs, and I thought I had a set of springs, but maybe I don't. I'm going to go get what I got, and we'll see if they're going to work. So I have been carrying this set of Plum Crazy Purple springs around off of a Cuda for 20 years. I bought a bunch of stuff from a guy, and there was boxes of stuff, and these happened to be in there. And he said, "Oh yeah, those are off of a Cuda. You can have those too." I thought, I've never owned an e-body in my life, but cool. I'll keep them. Well, lo and behold, here we go. And so, they need to be installed and something like that, and stretched into position. And you're not going to do that just real quickly, but and I'm not going to do that now because I got to blast all this stuff up and paint it. But still, I'm sure these are the right ones, and it's going to be pretty cool. So let me bring you around over here and show you what we got. I think the purple and the blue look really good together, but you can see, they've got to have some tension on them, obviously, to hold that hood up. So it's close. I mean, it's an inch. So if any of you e-body experts look at that and say, no, that's not right, then let me know. And then I got to determine like which end goes where, because I don't know that either. But we'll figure all that out. I'm not worried. And hopefully those are the right ones. And we'll go through, do a little Googling and see how to get them on there. But I got some ideas. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with that. So let's see. Let's take this one over here to, let's do the other one. Because I got a fender in the way on this side. But hopefully and stuff in there, and so they should go in there. Just like so. Ish, what I'm saying. So very, very cool. So when the hood gets here, we'll have the hinges to put on it. I was even thinking like, well, I could just use a prop rod, but this is going to work phenomenally. So let's try not to die to death here, getting back over to the bench. So let's talk about what's next today. Paint is still dry, and it's going to be a while before I can install that. I may not be able to get that on there today. Beck's gone away tonight anyway, so this isn't going to hold up her progress for sure. So I think just taking you out here a little bit and kind of showing you some of the stuff I'm working on will give you an idea of what a typical day is like here. So you see all of that brush back there. Right there, that's where my scrap metal, well, it's not just scrap metal, but that's where my scrap metal and outside parts are. That was this brushy all along in here. So yesterday I went after it and just cleaned all of that up. It's a never-ending battle, and I know you could spray it with Roundup and kill all that stuff. We try not to use that stuff. We don't like it. There's times, it's necessary, but we try not to. So I've been working on getting stuff cleaned up in front of the barn from over the winter. Normally by spring, like all winter, I just open the door up and chuck stuff out because of the snow, I can't get where I want to put stuff. Normally I have this cleaned up by now, but this year's just been crazy. We've been working on getting some firewood. We don't have nearly enough, but we will get on that in the fall and get more. We probably need about 6 more trailers or one of those big dump boxes full for our burner to heat the house and the shop. We got a fair bit there, but that's not anywhere near enough at this point. Something else I do on my off days, and I don't mean day off, I mean on the days that I'm not working on car projects, is I'm actually working on car projects by planning, plotting, researching. Last night, Just Mopar Joe and I were talking some about, back in my day, because I'm so old, back in my day, a lot of what I did was build stuff, thinking about quarter mile. This way I built the GTS, worked on other cars, stuff like that. But I'm thinking this car, because everybody's doing eighth mile now instead of quarter. So I've got to rethink. And he and I had a really good discussion last night about, out of wind all of a sudden. I get real bad allergies and it's really hard to breathe outside for me sometimes. So anyway, we had a real good discussion about, like, if I want this thing to be 5.5 to 5.7 in the quarter mile, which is a high 8-second, or 5.5 to 5.7 in the eighth mile, which is a high 8-second quarter mile car, what would I need to do to build it differently? And his statement, and I don't disagree with it because he's a whole lot smarter than I am with tons more experience. His statement was build it for the quarter and run it in the eighth. It isn't going to really make much difference. And I get that to a point. I'm running 457 gear in my GTS. I'm thinking maybe I need to be in a 513 gear, but his point was, and he's got a valid point here, I'm running a lot of gear on that, but I don't have much converter on it. And if I had more converter, I might not need as much gear. So I may be able to get away with this car and have a 411 gear in it, for example, but I may have a 5,000 RPM stall converter. You see what I mean? So I just need to think back through my experience and go through some math. And so on my off days or in my downtime or in times I'm not doing anything, that's a lot of what I'm doing is I'm cogitating, I'm thinking, I'm plotting and planning what I'm going to be doing for builds like the Golden Mullet, which I'm not really even touching yet. There's something else I need to accomplish this week, and I won't have time to do it today because it's getting late. We've got all Becky's water barrels here for her gardening stuff, which I need to get out, get set up, get the proper holes cut in them, and get them connected together and get them under eaves trough and stuff. And then I've got all of these ballot boxes from Jackson County, Michigan. They got rid of all of these years ago, and I got a lot of them. And we use those for the band for various things on stage. And they've just been sitting here. They need to go up in the barn. And hopefully this weekend, my buddy Chris will be here. We can get that area cleaned out because the other project that we need to do, and this is all car related, but this is our old chicken coop. And you can see that the roof needs a little help. So we got some sheeting we're going to put on. We're going to put some rolled roofing and stuff. That's where I keep all of my big heavy metal for the projects. That's where the chassis table is. That's where all the frame rail metal is for the Golden Mullet. And I want to protect that stuff, obviously. Plus, I don't want to lose this building. And eventually, this is where my lawnmower is going to go. So you kind of get the idea of there's always something going on here. Just a lot of things that need to be thought through and planned. So even if I'm not working on stitches, for example, I was on Facebook Marketplace just looking, and lo and behold, there's a guy, there's a guy who has some hinges, and actually we've kind of become Facebook friends now and stuff like that. I have a business to run. I do 3 episodes a week here. We have a homesteading channel. We do homesteading, and the channel's not just about, we're not doing the homesteading for the channel. We actually are homesteading to a large degree, not as radical as some. So there's always a lot going on. But when I'm like yesterday, I'm out pulling weeds and I'm mowing lawn for several hours and doing those things, the mind is going on different aspects of the shop and the projects. And so there's always a way to be taking a bite, is my point, even if you're not biting necessarily physically on a project. And just like that, it's all good. So I couldn't get it back to the shop when it broke from the garden over there because it didn't have a handle. So I managed to fight with it to the point of being able to get it just a little bit back here from where it is right now. And I just said, forget it. It was too hard to try to maneuver it. I couldn't get it to the shop. So I tore it apart here. And unfortunately, I saw it drop one of these. I didn't know there was two. And I have spent a good half an hour digging in the grass here, looking, trying to find them. And I don't know where the other one is. And these are the things that lock the handle. Little wedges that go in there. So it won't keep us from using it. But I got on Sears Parts Direct and ordered a new set of these, and they'll be here next week. So we'll be able to do what we need to do. I'll temporarily make that so it doesn't move around, and we'll tighten it up, and it'll do the job, and the wedges will be here, and we'll throw those in there, and it'll be good. Those wedges go behind. You can see they go right down in there. And they go together, teeth to teeth. And I didn't know there was two in there. If I had had it in a shop, it would have fallen on the floor. I would have seen it, but I just couldn't get it in there. It was just too unwieldy trying to get that thing to steer in the direction I wanted. Yeah, just no handle. So, it was just impossible. So anyway, que sera, $10 later, they're on their way, and it'll be all done. We just got to finish it up. And again, that's another typical non-episode type of stuff that goes on. I'm working in the shop almost every single day or around the property doing something. Yesterday, I was on my way back from the office, and I had my truck, and there's a bunch of livestock pads in the back of that for some testing we need to do. We're moving a server from one building to another, and we got to run some cable across the ground, and part of it's a driveway. So we had to pick up 4 of those big, heavy, thick pads to run that cable under, so when the vehicles are driving over it, they don't ruin the cable and ruin the test and blah, blah, blah. But part of that was yesterday. Also, then I had a commitment with Super Clean. I needed to do a little commercial for them. Hey everybody, it's Mike from My Car Shop on YouTube. I'm standing here in front of my local O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and you're not going to believe what I'm seeing up on the billboard here in front of the store right now. Super Clean Wheel Cleaner. Buy one, get one free. What a deal. It's super fast, it's super easy, and it's super clean. Get some. Check it out. It's good stuff. I promise. It is. So I got that filmed yesterday, and you just never know. There's always, even if I'm not working in the shop, like I said, there's always something to do to move the channel forward, to move a project forward, that kind of stuff. So my word to you, even if you're not able to physically work on something, that doesn't mean you can't be taking bites. Even when you're working on other stuff like this that's not related, there's still stuff. And of course, today we were promoting the channel because we were driving scoops. Yesterday we were promoting the channel and helping support Super Clean. There's always something related that helps My Car Shop continue moving forward. So it's a different day with me in the shop. I know a lot of you probably aren't going to like it because that's not what you're here for. But as I was thinking, as I'm always thinking about something, I thought, I got this little fabrication project, and what an opportunity to just share a different kind of day in the shop. But let's just not share the day in the shop. Let's share the entire day. All right, I'm exhausted. I'm going to let that paint dry before I do any more on that. So we'll bang away on that tomorrow, get that tiller finished up, and I think that's it. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the tremendous support that you guys give. I couldn't do it without you. And if there are other things you'd like to see me do, by all means, let me know. I'm really doing this to have fun and just share with you. There's always something to learn, and I feel like I've got so many years under my belt doing stuff. If I can be an encouragement to you, then that's what I'm here for. So that'll do it.
Rock!